What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Line Show. We're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate entrepreneurs, our business owners and investors, and cryptocurrency, where we feel like crypto is the biggest opportunity over the next few years, and it's not even close. Welcome. We're pumped to have you along for the ride. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are just having a blast on this crazy, wild ride, a roller coaster of what we call cryptocurrency, where we're going to use that as a wealth creation tool and then use real estate as a wealth preservation tool. Because I tell you what, when you're taking profits in 2024 and 2025, where are you going to put that money? Well, you're not going to put it in the bank because that's just stupid. Well, you can leave it in crypto, but then you might experience a 70 to 95% dip. One option you could do is you could take stable coins and you could put it in a protocol like Flux and make some good yield there. That is good, but it's also good to own some real world assets like real estate. And so we can use that tool as a wealth preservation tool while we're going through the next bear market, while we're going through maybe an economic recession. Who knows? If you guys don't follow Colin Talks Crypto, he did a great post today, rather lengthy, but it was awesome read, where he's projecting anywhere from a year to 3 years, we're going to see the recession come and things roll over. So, but that means we have a lot of time to get our bags packed, make a crap ton of money, and change the trajectory of your lives, our families' lives, and just, have a blast doing it. You're muted, Dane.
Thank you. Man, we thank God we saw a nice little bounce on the Bitcoin chart yesterday. I'll pull that up real fast. So if you guys haven't been following along these levels, where now I'm no chart expert by any stretch of the imagination, but there are a lot of people right in here that opened up shorts because they thought we were going to go lower. They thought these key levels here were going to break, and if we fell, theoretically below this 25, 24.5K, that we're going to be back down to, there were calls for 15K, 10K, 20K Bitcoin. There are other people saying that they thought it'd bounce here, and sure enough, we saw a really strong bounce starting yesterday. We're hanging out at 26K, and man, the bottom. I'm telling you, I'm feeling more and more bullish, feeling more and more like the bottom is in crypto in general from a Bitcoin standpoint, and we need Bitcoin to get back in a 30K, 40K range to really see some of our other stuff that we like go on a nice run, to see more bullishness, to see sentiment change around crypto. Corey and I were talking this morning where, we've been talking with some of our other friends that are they're in real estate or own businesses about crypto. And a lot of them think that crypto is dead, that it's going to go just down forever. And they don't want to get into something, of course, no one does, that you think is just going to go down forever. And that sentiment is going to be changing. I'm telling you, it's coming. Bitcoin halving early next year. Love seeing short-term things like this on the Bitcoin chart, and I think we're heading to greener pastures, potentially faster than other people realize.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like last month was such a red month because everyone was front running Rec Timber.
That's right.
Remember, when everyone thinks in the market, when everyone in the market thinks something's going to go one way, and like the general population or masses now think that, the market tends to trick them or tend to go another way. And this is very common, whether it's bear or a bull scenario, is that, this is a common bear trap, right? That we just witnessed because everyone thought we were going into Rec Timber. I mean, who knows? We don't know. We could see another massive red candle in the next few days. We don't know. We're just dudes on the internet speculating, and we're just telling what we believe. But yeah, man, I think that was a very strategic fake out right there.
Absolutely.
Bigger money.
And if the thing that nobody can call unless you're a politician is a potential black swan event that could occur from some of this. There's already talks about potential new virus outbreaks and shutdowns and money giveaways and things like that. The nice thing is that if you were here the last time that happened and you position yourself near the bottom, well, you did all right. You did just fine. If you're in crypto, you held and you sold, didn't have to be perfect, but near the top. If that happens again, we'll be ready to rock this time around. And so we'll see. But barring a big black swan event, I think upside is coming much more quickly than many realize.
Agreed. And you see it in the news too. Like, and obviously in a bear market, positive news does not affect the charts. And then it's vice versa in a bull, negative news won't affect the charts. But you saw, I saw today, Sony is making their own blockchain. Sony, like what? Like you
They're
guys
gonna
are.
try.
This is crazy. So we have a huge, big brand name coming out and going to create their own decentralized blockchain. And it's not going to really be decentralized, but I don't know how it's going to look, man. That's going to be fun to watch that play out. And if Sony has a place, in crypto, we'll see. But either way, it's news like that and things that you see like that tells you that what the future looks like, even though the chart's not really telling you, but you could see what the future is, what's going to happen in the future just from news like that. Sony would not be investing. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of money to build some blockchain that they're going to try to get users on if they didn't believe in the space as a whole. It's going to be interesting to see.
And we haven't, and I think that's such a strong point. We haven't seen it reflected on the price charts yet, but there is so much positive news coming into crypto right now. I think it's pretty wild. It's just a matter of time till sentiment changes, and we're back off to the races.
Yeah, agreed.
You guys, welcome, Tom. I look like I'm sitting in a basement dungeon. Well, you are accurate, sir. That's because I am. My basement, my freaking basement flooded, and so I am in the middle of a construction zone currently. They just finished paint, so I should be able to start putting some of my stuff back up on walls. Should have flooring and cabinets back in by next week, and I'll be back in business. So knock on wood, we have no more basement floodings, and and I'm in better shape. Blink twice if you need us to call the authorities. You guys got jokes this morning. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming in. Yeah, love your streams. Keep it up. Hey, we appreciate the feedback. Man, I was watching, so Corey and I are talking about this. I think it's really valuable to go, and especially if you find people that are posting on Twitter or sharing video content that you disagree with, I think it's really healthy to go watch some of it and try to figure out why it is that you disagree with it and what's actually going on. And so, for instance, I'll give you an example. So the whole PDI thing and the Tropa thing, I felt like that's a massive trap from the beginning. I felt like everyone was going to get rug pulled, and it was going to be a big dump, and it's like a lot of things that happen in crypto that we're all familiar with. But man, I started watching some streams. I watched B Roots this morning, that he did yesterday. I've been watching some of these other PDI guys. Now, I don't know how it's going to go. I still don't necessarily feel like it's a slingshot to the moon, and I wouldn't feel dumping considerable cash into it. However, there is something going on there. There are a lot of people with belief in that ecosystem, and there's excitement. In fact, I was looking, I think it was yesterday, I was looking at the volume on Pulse Chain. Everything with volume was related to Atropa. And it's pretty interesting. So I don't know if I'll buy some. I don't know if I necessarily am going to get involved, but I think it's important to be able to look at things like that, figure out what's going on, why there's excitement, and see what we could do to funnel people to what you believe in, what you like, and frankly, we need the casino portion of crypto.
Yep.
We need the volume. We need the excitement. And those guys are bringing it, and we're here for it. I think it's great.
And I would say, this is for anybody in the audience, if you're thinking about getting involved in the ecosystem because you're feeling a little bit of FOMO, wait for the chart to allow you to get involved. Axis, I'm in his group, and so are you, Dane. Like, he's been charting PDI, and he's showing the levels that it should pull back to naturally from a chart perspective before, taking another rip up. And so like, if you know somebody who's a good charter, or if you're in one of these, other groups where you got someone, Axis does a great job of charting a lot of different, assets in our ecosystem. I love that. And so he's charting PDAI, obviously, for the group members. And yeah, if you wanted to like throw something in there, you wait for whenever it touches the next, resistance line or support. It'd be support from a chart perspective, and maybe throw like a couple $100 in there. You don't go crazy, guys. I would never recommend going crazy and putting a lot of your bag in there, because we just don't know what the future holds for that ecosystem. And I mean, I hope they're right and it goes to $1. Who knows? That'd be wild.
Right.
But yeah, you can play the game. You just want to do it smart. Never buy green candles, guys. Don't fall for the whole, when people are shilling it, it's when the biggest green candles are on the chart. That's when you see the most shilling happen. And it's easy to fall in that trap and go in to start buying it because you feel like you're missing out. What happens is you go in and buy it, and then the next day you wake up and you're down 30%, you're down 50%. You're like, oh my gosh. And so like, just be careful with that. Be mindful of that. And then obviously, don't put a large portion of your bag in. This is like something you're playing for fun. Like you had said, Dane, almost like a casino game. You go in and you buy a little bit, you play the game, you watch the charts, and at least you're doing something in the bear market. I think it's definitely healthy and amazing that Pulse Chain has this going on, because this is what's keeping the chain alive while we're waiting for good grade A, blue chip type protocols to launch, like Fame, like Power City, like Alex's new protocol for Hedron and Lycosa. These are going to be like blue chip type protocols for our ecosystem. And while we're waiting for this is keeping the chain alive and keep the chain going. People are going in there and degenning, and they're trading, and they're selling, and they're buying, and they're FOMOing in, even though they shouldn't be, but they are. It's just going to happen. And so this has been good for our ecosystem. No matter what the maxis tell you on Twitter, don't listen to the maxis. This has been amazing for our ecosystem, and that's why I love B Roots. I'm trying to get him on our show. I've been going back and forth with him. He's a busy guy, so
Right.
But we're going to get him back on to talk about, because what I want to talk about with him is, so just to educate everybody, like we've talked about the law of meme coins, and he's had that strategy for quite a while. I've watched his law of meme coins back, probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And I just want to talk about what things have changed since Pulse Chain, because he says that Pulse Chain has different dynamics than Ethereum. For example, in Ethereum, you have all the bots that are buying and selling really quick on all these new meme coins that are coming up. Like the bots front run you, and it's hard to get in. And he's like, Pulse Chain doesn't have this. It doesn't have these quick bot trading, meme coin front running you, and so it's kind of like starting over again. So I was trying to kind of talk to him about like what other dynamics are different in Pulse Chain that we're not seeing that you're seeing. That's how he's being successful right now. The guy's crushing it. That's his game, though, man. That's just his game. I'll never be the Moon King Part 2. That's just not my. Not my stick, man. But it would be cool to get, some knowledge out of him and how he's playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and this was my sentiment. I don't know. I think they might have something going on over there. They have the whole. Sounds like they're using the Maker protocol and the way that it's built with bots to be able to go and try to stabilize price and buy things up. And here's the thing: like even if all that is a bunch of like hogwash, you know what I mean? And trying to say Richard is behind it, yeah, I don't know about that. But the fact of the matter is like that's where the excitement is right now. That's where the eyeballs are, and we need that. We need the volume. We need people excited, and that's how, in my opinion, that's how you get the rest of it to turn around. So some of this stuff is going to lead the way, and I think to a lot of people's surprise, it's probably going to be some of this meme degen stuff that'll lead us out of the bear market into the bull, so the rest of the things can go and do something interesting, and that's fine. I'm here for it. That doesn't mean we're necessarily really participating, but we need some of this stuff to like turn it around.
Yeah, 100%. It brings adoption and eyes to the chain. I mean, you got people who are coming over from Ethereum now because they see all the green candles over our meme coins and they want to make some, they're degenerates, they're gamblers. They want to come in and place their $50, $100, $500 bets and try to do a 10x. That's just
and you could do it with almost no fees. It's great.
And you can do it almost no fees. You can trade in and out all day long very easily. That's kind of a trader's dream over on Pulse Chain, where in Ethereum, if you're a trader, man, you're paying 30, 40, 50. I mean, depending if you're in DeFi or not, you're paying a lot. You're paying a lot for those trades. And you don't have that over on Pulse Chain. You can be the trader you want to be. Now, we don't condone being a trader. We don't do it ourselves. I know for a fact if I was to sit down and try to be a trader, I would lose my whole bag. So it's nothing I'm interested in doing. But hey, there are some people who are really good at it, and that's a fact. Like Axis, he's really good with the charts, and he's really good at spotting where support lines are at, and where resistance, and where the liquidity is at, and he's good with the RSI. You look at the RSI, which way it's going. Do you have bullish divergence? Do you have bearish divergence? There's so many different things. So it's a talent, man. It's a serious talent to be able to chart and especially be successful at it.
Yeah.
We got a friend, Sprackberger. He's really good with the charts. It's really good. We get on these private Zooms with him once in a while, and he'll go bring the charts up and then kind of give his 2 cents in thinking where we're going. And sometimes these guys are right, Yeah. So like Hans actually called out the Bitcoin that this was a fake out. He called this before it happened. He said this was a fake out, and it looks like he might be right on his call.
Right.
Who knows? He's saying that the bull run's here now, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
But if Waters Above is right, then on the 16th, we should see a massive red candle again, because the 16th is supposedly the Black Swan event, according to Waters Above. So
that would be interesting. I feel pretty comfy still with my plan of being patient with the money that I have left.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that, bro.
Yeah, to wait and see. I'm really comfortable. It's just like wait and see. I don't need to buy a perfect bottom, but gosh, I want to see. Yeah, I want to see an uptrend before.
And you got bags. It's easy to do that when you got bags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're pretty packed, where it's like you're not missing. Like, yeah, sure, you might have missed the bottom. Okay, whoopie doo, but it's still. I mean, you're perfectly fine if you had to buy a 10, 20%. You missed that part of the move. It's not going to kill you because you already got your bags packed.
Right. So. Right. Yeah, Rand is saying it's time to start deploying. I've seen that, and I think a lot of it depends on what you want to buy too, right? Like whether it be Bitcoin or Ethereum, those two things are those are different than buying something like Pulse Chain, because Pulse Chain is new. It's it's not heavily adopted yet. So you take all that into account, think for yourself, and figure out what you want to do. If I was looking specifically to acquire Bitcoin, well, frankly, I'd still be waiting this month. I'd be really comfortable just waiting to see what happened before I grab some more. But yeah, I like it. You're starting to see more people that are like, hey, it's time to go, get loaded up, and let's rock.
Yeah, agreed. We need, like you said, I don't know who said that. I was watching, it was someone's show, that we need Bitcoin at 43K. That would trigger the mass retail to come in. I don't know why that number. And if you guys know in the audience who I'm talking about, I can't remember exactly where I saw it. It might have been on Rand. It was on one, or maybe it was BitBoy. I don't know, but it was one of the bigger shows that said that we need 43K Bitcoin to trigger the mass retail FOMO. And then basically all the other, your alts, your other layer ones, all the others, take off at that point, because then you have full FOMO effect across the whole ecosystem. So yeah. I don't know. That's just that's a lot of speculation.
No, but generally, right? It's we just need more bullish sentiment for Bitcoin, so the rest of the market can carry.
Because what happens is that people make money in Bitcoin. Retail comes in, they're buying it up, right? And then that money comes out and it flows into Ethereum, and then that money, Ethereum's pumping, and that flows out into all the alts and all the other alternative layer ones. It's like a trickle down effect. And yeah, that's the way a lot of the players play the game, and then they make all the money in these alts and layer ones, and then they feed it back into Bitcoin again. Like it's their way of building their Bitcoin bag. A lot of people do that, so it's interesting. We do the same thing in Pulse, right? A lot of people right now are playing the meme game because they're trying to grow their Pulse bag without having to put new money in. I mean, that's pretty sexy when you can build your bag without putting new money in. Man, who doesn't want free money? And so, like, that's what a lot of people are doing right now with the PDAI and the Tropa and any of the other meme games that are going on in there. Like Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear has been freaking just absolutely ripping, bro. Like that thing is like a freaking Shiba Inu of Pulse chain. I don't know.
It's ripping, yeah. I'm curious to see. I mean, some of this stuff is fun. Like you said, Corey, though, I don't want to buy big green candles. I want to be patient
about Axis's charts. He's charting all of this stuff.
Yeah.
All of it. Like he's charting it, and just watch for levels to get into, because it will come back down some. It ain't gonna come back. You're not gonna get the great, 6, 7 zeros again on it. But like you can still get it, or maybe you get a nice, 2 or 3x. That's exciting. I mean, what else is going on right now? There's not much else.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you get a 2 or 3x on $500, you're pretty excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if Joe can become president by sleeping in his basement, you can make us millions in crypto from your basement. Appreciate the vote of comments. I just need a son with a drug addiction, doing drugs in the White House, and now we're really on to something.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Yeah, last cycle I didn't feel retail coming back until all-time high in Bitcoin was broken. After that, it was pure chaos. Yeah, that's interesting. It'll be fascinating to see when they come back in. I feel like in general, retail's paying a lot more, at least in our conversations, retail's paying a lot better attention this go around. I think they're going to come in sooner than all-time highs. I really do. Because I think many people have seen the runs from crypto like we have. That's why we want to get so heavily involved this time around. You've seen the runs, you've seen what's happened, and you want to try to position yourself so that you can capture that this go around. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, all my onboards are in the PDAI game. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's interesting. There's something to be said about keeping yourself entertained as we go along, and yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Here, Corey, I got to take a call. 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Take the call. And then Tin Top, we need the money printers to go burr. Yes, sir. I believe that we're going to see it, probably sometime next year. But the thing is, Tin Top, typically when the money printers go burr or they start lowering the interest rates, well, actually, so at first they lower the interest rates. And then once we start and the interest rates start coming down, that's when the big collapse happens. This is historically, right? We don't know if it's, but usually, history usually rhymes. But that's usually when the market crashes, is when they start lowering the interest rates. And then at that point, yeah, you're right. Then they'll do some kind of like, whether they're bailing out banks or they're stimulating, the economy one way or another through, maybe it's businesses like Apple or whatever. They're not going to let the massive blue chips die out via the recession. And so, yeah, that's when the money printers would go burr, and then risk on assets would have, be able to move. But make sure you keep a bag, man, because I'm telling you, and I I really like this guy, Colin Talks Crypto. If you guys are not following him or seeing his content on Twitter, go follow him. He's a pretty smart dude. He actually lives out here in Puerto Rico. He's actually a Hexagon too. He's a Hexagon, but he's a firm believer in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so that's his main bags, where he's being the Hexagon and Pulsarkin on the side. But he really feels strongly about the left translated cycle coming up in 2024. And what would happen is if the market rolls over, man, I tell you, it's like the COVID dip, or I mean, I should be saying that on here, the pandemic dip. I don't want to get canceled, but it really would be. I mean, you had that opportune time, that moment in time, you could have grabbed your favorite bags and you could have just made life-changing wealth. I mean, even Bitcoin did well from the crash. You know, I think Ethereum did a 50x. It's absolutely insane. So like, you want to make sure that you're saving some dry powder, or maybe you're exiting out of the market when you're anticipating this to come. Don't be holding, you know, for that 1000x. Make sure you're playing smart as the cycle is going through, because if that happens and you have dry powder on the side and you're able to grab your favorite assets, I mean, hold on to your shorts, because that is when you could get the 1000x. That is, especially in these lower market cap alts, and you know, it would be just life-changing wealth. So we want to be careful and cognizant of this going into 2024, and that's when the money printers would go back on, and it would be absolute insanity. So, and who knows? Maybe all this talk that you know, they might end up doing a new pandemic, and then they keep that's how they turn the money printers on burr, and then maybe we don't see a recession because they're front running the recession with enough printing. But that would be so much chaos in itself. I don't know about that. We're still early up. Agreed. I believe we'll see another big dip before the hockey stick. Yeah. And who knows, in our ecosystem, I still think that we could see more downward pressure in Pulse and PulseX before we see the hockey stick, like you said here. I don't know, man. This could be pretty, life-changing wealth. I wore this shirt today, sacrifice it all for PulseX, and I wore that because literally, if you did sacrifice for PulseX, you sacrificed, because your money's about, it's 90% down off, what you sacrifice. Maybe a little less if you had the bonus multiplier. I got a little bonus multiplier on my bag, but then you had to literally DCA down in these lower levels to really get that cost basis down. And you guys wanted 1000x on Pulse and PulseX. Here's your opportunity, whether it's off of these levels or another 50% down. That is going to be how you get your 1000x out of PulseX or Pulse, is these low levels. We have room now to actually move up. One thing, the market cap is so much smaller, and then you just don't have these heavy whales selling you down every move up you do. And so it allows more room for us just to grow. And so that's what's exciting about, these lower levels. I know it sucks on your money that you've already invested. I'm with you guys. One of the lessons I learned in this bear market is that I need to learn to be more patient with the economic energy that I have, especially in the bear market. Like I said, the bull dynamics are different. If Richard Heart had launched, let's say Q1 of 24, I don't believe we would have saw this type of downward pressure. I could be wrong about this, but it's just a different dynamic. Money acts differently when you're in a bull market. And so I really feel like, we would have seen the type of structure we saw. I think people would have been more accurate with their calls of how Pulse and PulseX would have done if we were in the bull market. But being that we are in the bear, it's just that, the markets, you're not going to outbeat the market. And you can't, there's a saying in the stock world, don't bet against the Fed. And that really resonates with me now, because by me dumping all this large amounts of money into crypto, rather quickly, I was betting against the Fed. And I need to be paying attention a lot more what's going on to the macro versus getting sucked into crypto Twitter and all the YouTubers and getting the hype up from, the launch coming up. And it was hard, but I learned some valuable lessons, some very valuable lessons, some takeaways out of these, buying, Pulse and PulseX after launch, and into, DCing all the way down, basically catching the falling knife. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out in the future. I have high hopes for it, though. I believe we are still in the right place at the right time. And we just got to see, you know, what happens with this, obviously, this SEC BS that we're going through. I think we might get a little bit of clarity on November 28th when they do the phone hearing, whether the judge says, hey, you know, let's extend on serving him. We had on our show yesterday, we had talked about how and I was not aware of this, when someone goes after you with a lawsuit, whether it's the SEC or it's a third party, they have, it was 4 months. I think this was 120 days. So they have 120 days to serve you. And if they don't, then they have to go back to the judge and they have to get an extension. But basically, a lot of times what happens is if people don't get served after 4 months, then the case can get dropped. So it'll be interesting to see. The only issue that, you know, we see with this is obviously in the SEC law or the SEC suit is they mentioned fraud multiple times. And so, like, if they fail to serve him, then they're going to try to get the DOJ involved. That way they can go and try to extradite him out of the country he's in. There's so many different unknowns. But I think maybe we'll have a little bit more clarity after November, maybe not. And we'll see what happens. It's going to be a wild ride. So, I said multiple times, the best time to launch a coin is in a bear market. Absolutely. I believe that, although the timing of the bear market is very critical, I truly believe if it went for the SEC thing going on, he still wouldn't have launched Pulse Chain, because I know for a fact that there was private chat rooms with devs that he was pushing really hard, rushing Pulse Chain to get out before it was a complete and finished product. And that's why we saw PulseX come out with so many problems, with bugs in the code. And, if you guys remember the liquidity where nobody was getting the fees and he had to do the V2. And then now, it's just a big old mess. Problems with the buy and burn. Just been problem after another. I really believe none of that would have happened if they weren't so rushed. And so I believe that we still wouldn't see Pulse Chain right now if it wasn't for the SEC. When he launched Hex, it was actually in October before if you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, I see Brissology in here, and maybe he knows, but Hex was launched around October-ish, if I'm not mistaken, prior to the Bitcoin halving. So it was a lot closer to the Bitcoin halving, or where the market was turning around in sentiment, versus where he launched, Pulse Chain. We were in the deep of the bear market. And so, timing is everything on trying to preserve liquidity. And it was a December launch. That's what Liam said. That's interesting. December 3rd, 2019. So there you go. It was a lot closer to where the market sentiment was turning around, or the market maybe had turned around, and you come out and you launch a new protocol. I mean, you're off to the races in. So we still had a lot of bear market to go through launching where we did. So the good part is that for the people who have dry powder on the side, this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. Get out there. If you don't have dry powder, get out there and hustle and make some dry powder. We're still bringing new money in, and we'll be deploying it, as we're moving along here. And this could be absolutely legacy wealth buying times, and time will tell. And so, yeah, December 3rd, we got a lot of OG hexagons in here. That's good. So, oversubscribed auction sales, which is what Pulse and PulseX were, always experience a sell-off like this in crypto. This blood-letting period is painful, but probably required. I agree, Liam. It's required for us to see the mad gains that we wanted out of this ecosystem, to really see the growth that we wanted out of this ecosystem, and to get rid of, a lot of the big bag holders. Man, there was a lot of top bag holders in Pulse and PulseX. So it removes that economic energy. It distributes it down to all the dolphin squids and they come and pick it up, and then basically you have a lot more, economic distributed ecosystem. It's a lot fairer. And so, yeah, it was definitely needed, and we'll see how it plays out. Yeah. X was December launch. Yes. My call for Pulse was 6 months prior to the halving. Yeah, that would have been more ideal, seeing how it all played out. But the SEC was on his butt. And we knew this because in January, all the streaming stopped. And I don't know, I think it was before January. And even when he was streaming, I don't know if you remember, guys, there he was kind of streaming here and there, but he was always in a new hotel room. Like he was always on the go. And he was always in his castle before that. Prior to the hotel room streaming, he was always in his castle in that chair. And then all of a sudden he was always on the go, and he'd have the LV bags behind him that he'd place to kind of have the same feeling when he was streaming, but he was always on the go there the last 6 months or so when he was streaming. So I felt like he maybe even known then, which lines up perfectly with when the Hex influencers were getting all, served for information. Basically, they were doing an investigation on everybody. Lucky enough, we weren't streaming then, so we didn't start streaming until December of last year when Hex was at its local low. Then we started streaming because we were trying to get our heads up, out of the FUD and get some positivity in our lives and into the ecosystem. So I guess this is what my protocols on Pulse are going to launch. Yeah, Paul, me and Dane were talking about this the other day. If I had a third-party protocol that I built, and even if I did a SAC for it, I get it. It sucks that SAC was 2 years ago. For example, some of these were 2 years ago, some not so long ago. Man, now I would be giving updates, and I would be giving very clarification on audits and everything else. But if it was me, I would be waiting until sentiment kind of turns around. So that way my protocol doesn't experience a 95% down, on the price chart before getting some life breathed into it. But that's me, and everyone is different. Now the PH ecosystem has defied this whole, they've actually launched and held really good stability in their price charts. Now, with that being said, not a lot of people sacrifice for fiat because not a lot of people knew about it. I was lucky enough that I did, but there wasn't a lot of money given to fiat it was
just a few $1 million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was less than 10. I think it was 5 or 6, something like that.
Yeah, I did a rather not big. Some people might. It was small. I consider it small, but
your total bag size, yeah.
It was a shark. There's a shark position. And so that could be why it's holding up so well. It's because there wasn't a lot of money to begin with. And then, Fux, PHUX didn't have a sacrifice. They launched and they had some very interesting tokenomics, and that could be why it is holding up so well. So with Fame, I'm 50-50 on it. I'm it could hold up well. But at the same time, they got a lot more economic energy put into it than fiat did. It might see a bit of a lava memes. I don't know. We had a member in our group asking earlier this morning how they would play it if they did not get into the sacrifice. How would they get involved in Fame when it launches? It's an interesting question because I'm 50-50 on how it's going to play out. I just don't know. And but we know the last two protocols have done quite well. One thing is that he's ensuring confidence in the marketplace. He's got great confidence that he's able to deliver a great product. And so maybe that confidence will also help protect the price chart when Fame launches. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, I've been, going over that question multiple times in my head. So
yeah. It'll be interesting. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, how would you onboard new money into the ecosystem to purchase Pulse? I mean, essentially two different ways, right, Corey? The
Yeah.
first is you could, we're big advocates for things that have been built for Pulse. So something like Coast, I think, is really freaking cool. And in time, the liquidity that will build there, and so it can make a lot of sense to onboard that way. Now, the fees are something you need to pay attention to, depending upon where you live, and the cost to onboard money and things of that nature. I said it on a show here. I think it was about a month ago. I was helping a guy move money over. I can't remember the exchange he was using, but man, by the time we were done, his $5,000 was down to 4 by the time we got it over to Pulse Chain, and that was expensive. So depending upon where you are and what you're using, you got to make a determination. For those of us that are here in the United States, it's still, if you're going to move over, more than like $1,000 maybe is a good like cutoff. It's still cheaper to go through something like, in my experience, it's been cheaper to go through something like Coinbase and or like Robinhood, for instance, and then send over to your hardware wallet and then bridge over.
I don't think you can. Robinhood, can you send? I didn't think you could send money out of Robinhood.
Yep.
To a decentralized wallet. Really?
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty slick, actually. I was doing that just the other day with one of our one-on-one guys because his Coinbase got closed down and is cracking too. And so I was like, okay, what other options do we have? He's like, well, I got a Robinhood account. I was like, well, I've never done that, but let's see. And yeah, like you could move it over. The problem is you could only move it over in like $5,000 chunks a day. So depending upon how much capital you have is that was kind of a pain. But otherwise, I mean, I think the fees were very like reasonable.
Really?
Yeah. So there's another option.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, Tin Top. Protocols need to launch before the end of the year, January 1st, 2024. New regulations, laws go into effect, in the USA. That's actually an interesting point. I hadn't considered that if you've got something to launch and you're US based. In fact, are there many? I'm trying to think of the guys of some of the bigger sacrifice protocols. How many of those guys are US based? I mean, I think Liquid Loans is not. I think Power City is not. The PH stuff is not. Something like, I don't know where Gerardo is these days with Mintra. That might be something to consider with that one. That's an interesting thought.
He's supposed to be launching next month.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. I hope he does. I hope it goes great.
I really do. I sat for it, bro.
I stayed out of that one. Yeah. But I hope he does. We need everybody. We need all of it. I'm hopeful that there's cool UIs and things work relatively well. Here's the thing that just keeps playing in my mind is like Solana is a chain that doesn't work that well. And it did awesome last freaking go around. Now FTX was buying the crap out of it, so there's something to be said about that. But man, you don't even need flawless operation to have good price performance. You need it to generally work and have some appeal. So I'm interested to see what like a Mintra does.
It's like Sami says, community is the asset, not the code.
Yeah.
It's 100% accurate.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, Dylan's on. So law of meme coins. Yeah, buy ASAP, sell day 4 to 7, buy back when it dips. I'm playing law of memes on Fame. I think it's an interesting. Play. It's tough though. Then you had something like Fiat that launched. They launched their protocol. I thought we'd see a stronger run on that. We saw a run in the first day, and then it pulled back. So. Yeah, you've got to determine how you want to play your hand and what you want to do. Also, keep in mind that, right, if you're actively trading, there potentially is tax consequences there. We're not CPAs. Talk to somebody that is. So something to consider in that respect. Yeah. Try the Coast on-ramp. Been using it since it was live. Works great for no coiners, anyone that doesn't want to deal with the bridge BS.
Yeah, I'm going to try it next time around too. I'm going to send over, a little bit just to give it a go.
And be aware too, if you use Coast, I'm pretty sure it's 100,000 tokens.
Yes.
I think at today's price, I think it's like a few $100.
Nothing.
If you buy that, you lock it. That's how you get your fees down to 1%, is my understanding. So something to be aware of if you use them. I like it. I think it's cool to build for Pulse Chain. It's way easier, for onboards that are not familiar with DeFi. Instead of having a bridge and do all this craziness, they can just onboard and jump right in. Something to be said about that.
Yeah, they did a good job too, man, of getting money transmitter license and like basically I feel like worldwide. Like they got them everywhere. I see every single week they have like new countries that can participate now in the protocol. It's absolutely phenomenal the work they put in for this. I really got to give it to those guys. I mean, I can't wait for the liquidity to be up high enough to where it doesn't matter how much people are going to be, wiring in. The only issue is if you're wiring in a large amounts of money, 1% starts to kind of add up a lot. Like if I'm sending over 100 grand, if I send over 100 grand, I got to pay $1,000 to get 100 grand in the ecosystem. It's like, I'm going to start looking for other ways to get money into the ecosystem. But if you're sending like 10 grand and it's only $100, well then, okay. That's okay. You know what I mean? Because I can pay $100 just the gas fee on Ethereum. Because you got to look at that. You got gas fees on Ethereum. You have the bridge. The bridge has its fees. So you have all these different fees that then it adds up where it makes sense to just go directly into Coast. But there's a point where it tips and it doesn't make that much sense anymore. And so I hope in the future they come out with a product for larger bag holders or larger money. That, because what if somebody wants to bring in $1 million? Come on, they're not going to pay 10 grand.
No.
They're not paying 10 grand, and we want whales in the ecosystem to have a direct on and off ramp too. So they need to think a little bit about that a little bit more. And they don't have to be now; it could be down the road. But I do love what they're doing, and I hope they got something for bigger money too.
Yeah, when you could even tier it, you know what I mean? You could say, hey, for six figures plus, your fees are cheaper or something like that.
Yeah. You bring it down. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Dylan says Coinbase currently has a 60-day hold on outgoing money. Yeah, in fact, I've heard that from a few people. I haven't run into this, but I also haven't used it and done a larger chunk recently.
It could be your location too. Dylan, you're in Texas, correct?
Right.
Yeah, Texas seems to be an issue with a lot of money transmitters and these on and off ramps. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about it. When Trust Token was around, when TUSD was doing their thing, they wouldn't even touch Texas. It was like, it's a tough state for, and then they're trying to become their own country. I guess maybe if you become your own country, you're gonna allow crypto. Like, what's going on there?
Right. Have to move to Texas.
Jeez.
Right. Oh yeah, Ted uses Robinhood.
Interesting, Ted.
Yeah. Robinhood will let you send $1,000 and hold the rest for 5 days. I recently had an increase to this immediately available to 2K, and the rest hold 5K transfer limit a day. Yeah, the guy I was helping, now he's somebody that has more money than many, and he was able. I think he might have even been a 10K limit. In fact, I think he had 20 or 30 grand to move over, and I think they capped him at 10. It was either 5 or 10. So yeah, there's an option. There's an option there. Still got my Utah driver's license. I'm now in Utah.
Yeah.
Nice.
No could be the way around your problems. I don't know.
Right. Oh man, yeah. Can I have some inspiration? Swapped a lot of BTC for EHEX a year ago. Swapped for PulseX, and down like 150K. Oh. Yeah, man. I mean, we feel for you. My portfolio at the height of Pulse Chain launch was up in like a 7x from where it's at right now. So like this is my perspective. At the end of the day, I'm being more patient with additional funds I have to bring in. My portfolio was almost 7 figures. I think Corey's was more. I think Corey had more than me, and I feel like I know what we've been buying. I feel really comfortable with the ecosystem, stuff's being built. At the end of the day, like, I think that it's kind of the same as Bitcoin right now. You have so much hype around the ETFs. You're having bigger and bigger, financial institutions wanting to get into the game filing for an ETF. They're starting to flood in, and it's interesting that it's not being reflected on the price chart yet. I think that, frankly, I think some of that stuff's happening on Pulse Chain here. I think we're going to see new protocols launch, from now till the end of the year. I think that's going to be really exciting. I think that, the foundation for the ecosystem is being built. And I think we're going to be fine. I really do. Like, that when you're coming into crypto, you're buying in the most volatile asset class in the history of the world.
It could be a punch in the stomach, bro.
It hurts. Yeah. Make no mistake about it. But like, I haven't really sold anything. I'm kind of just hanging out.
Yeah.
I made a few swaps. Like, I pretty well swapped out of all my Pultex.
Yep.
And that's a decision I felt good about. And so far appears to be like a good decision. And you just try to manage things the best you can. I think we're going to make it as long as you don't sell yourself short. But once again, I could be wrong, and you've got to make your own decision.
Yeah, the worst thing you could do right now is capitulate and sell, and then that actually realizes the losses. That really locks in the losses, is by going ahead and pushing the red button. The only thing you can do, well, there's really three things you can do, right? There's one, you could just sell and you can leave, and that just sucks, because then you lost that 150 grand, or unless you may be putting another asset that does really well. But what asset you're going to put it in? You got to do a lot of due diligence. You need to know where you're going with it. You can't go back to Bitcoin. You know that. If you took your 150, you're down 150 with those assets. Whenever you sell it, you go back to BTC, you're not going to make the 150 back from that asset. We know that. And we're pretty. Unless Michael Saylor's right and BTC is going to 5 million this cycle, which is absolutely asinine. But so. That's one, right? You could sell, and that would suck. That would have sucked the most to me, in my opinion. Two is you could just hold, don't do anything, ride this through. I'm a firm, strong believer. I believe it to my bone that we are in the right place at the right time with this ecosystem, with you guys. I'm telling you, not financial advice, obviously, but what I believe. And so, like, you just hold, right? Hold, and, if Pulse Chain and PulseX do, conservative numbers, even a 20 or 30x from here, then you are significantly pretty, up on your money. It might not be the massive 100x that you wanted out of the gate, but hey, you're still going to be in a really good place. The third option is you could DCA if you have more dry powder, or if you can, work or do a side hustle to get more dry powder. You could DCA at these lower levels, and it doesn't mean you have to right now at this level, because I don't know if it's going to go down another notch. It could, but you could DCA and get that cost basis really down. So that way, when it goes and does a 30x from here, you're able to realize some pretty good gains on all that, on the entire portfolio. So, I mean, that takes a lot more faith, right? You got like, option one takes zero faith. It means you're like, oh, this is like a shit show. I'm done. F you guys. I'm selling. You take your losses. Two, you have to have some faith that we're going to be okay and that we're going to make it on the other side. You just hold. Three is continue to DCA. And so those are the three options. I would say for me, man, option one is definitely not an option. It's somewhere in between option two and option three for me. And so, yeah, you got to come to your own conclusion on that. And it's hard. It's just really, really hard, especially with all the FUD and everyone on Twitter. And we got people on Twitter capitulating and cussing out Richard Heart. I mean, they're like, you got people going crazy right now on Twitter, dude. I put my wife's savings. I'm like, well, bro, like, did you mortgage the house? Like, is this what you like? These are the kind of people, like, when you mortgage the house and you sold your family car and you can't put food on the table no more. Maybe you took out too much leverage. It's these type of moves that you should never be doing in any investments. I don't care what you're investing in. You should never over invest yourself where it's like if you having some bad, bad year that basically you're bankrupt. It's just, and this is what we're seeing. This is really what we're seeing. And it's unfortunate. We're going to see more of this. The longer we stay down here, we're going to see more. And it's it sounds mean. It's just part of the cleansing process the market's going to do, because we were overvalued and we were overhyped, and it's just what's happening. So that's my 2 cents. It was a little bit long-winded, but I feel like you are in the right place at the right time. It's going to be amazing. Yes. Now, on that note, keep watch of the left translated cycle that may or may not play out. Sami talks about it a lot in his videos. Colin talks crypto, talks about it a lot of his videos. We've talked about it a few times. Just keep a close eye on that. We don't want to.
I don't think the economy is going to make it to 2025. I like a traditional cycle. I just don't.
Yeah. Let's just be careful with that. Really careful. So, but I think we could see some pretty good runs in 2024. I really do. I think.
Yeah, I think next year will be strong.
24 is going to be an amazing year. Not even for crypto, but I think the economy as a whole too. As they're kind of saving the economy for the next presidential election kind of deal, and then man, whoever gets in office next time is going to have a shit show to clean up.
Oh my gosh, I'd hate to have that job.
Maybe it's Biden again. He's just like, oh, it's the same old.
It'll be Kamala before it's Biden, in my opinion.
Let's not get into politics.
Yeah, it freaking hurts. We're with you on that. We're with you on that.
I'm with you on that, man. It does hurt, but that's part of the process. I really believe that. It sucks. But we decided we wanted to be in this asset class. We know what this asset class does, and this is how you earn. This is how you earn your gains. You know how in the real world you go to work or you create a business and that's how you earn the money. Well, this is us earning this, 100x or 50x or 30x or maybe potential, 500x. Who knows? I don't know what we're going to do, but this is us earning that. Going through this. This is us, earning our, getting our stripes. A lot of people have sat through some massive dips, had some massive volatility. I said Brizology in here. Brizology is like a Bitcoiner from 2013. I'm sure he sat through just crazy volatility. And this is how you earn your way through in crypto and you get the big gains. Nothing in life is easy. My dad used to tell me all the time when I was a kid, he's like, son, nothing in life is easy. And if it is, it's a scam. Well, this is just right. This isn't easy and it sucks. But on the other side, there is a rainbow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Every time I DCA, we drop. Yeah. I'm
catching the falling knife.
Yeah. I'm pretty comfy being patient with the money I have left and just waiting and,
nothing wrong with that strategy. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Be patient. I think there's a lot to be said. I'm telling you, though, we're getting close to the time where we can throw patience to the wind and we'll be back off again. I really think we're getting close. Yeah, that's great. I think that's a good way to look at it. Luckily the 150K was from BTC profit since 2018. And that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Bear market bruises become bull market scars of victory. Absolutely.
We got him.
Absolutely. Yeah, what does he say? Yeah, Drew. Yeah, my cost basis on Hex is 10 cents with DCAs. I need a 30x on eHex just to break even. Yeah, it's been a learning experience. That's the truth. Live and learn from your mistakes. Yeah, what does Ted say here? I'm curious. My first Hex buy was 6K at 46 cents. I've DCA'd and now at 1 cent. What you can buy now is massive compared to when you bought. It would reduce that 10 cent point down pretty far. Good luck.
That's accurate.
If you can buy these levels, yeah. That's the hard thing, though, is what's his name on Crypto Banter? The main dude was talking about it. Rand, that's right. I think it was earlier this week. He's like, most of the believers have DCA'd their way. Their bank accounts have run dry. There's not a lot more DCA funds to go around for many people right now.
Yeah, I saw that. It was a tweet.
Yeah.
It hit home with me. I was like, Rand.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the truth, Drew. Yeah, I had some really significant chunks of cash that I placed a little too early. And yeah, I just wish I would have been more patient. That's all. I feel pretty confident that we'll be fine now. I think, I think every as long as you're willing to take profits and you're paying close attention to time frames, I think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna be fine over, next year. I think everybody's gonna be in a lot better place.
Just
Many
make sure
people are
you
not.
sell.
Yeah, make sure you take profits though.
I can't. I promise you, it's gonna happen again. 90%. You're gonna see the stories all over again. It just, guys, make sure to take profits. Don't be scared taking profits. You'll never go broke taking profits.
Right. Right. And I'm telling you guys, and we shared this one yesterday. I think this one plays over and over in my head. I thought it was so good to learn from. Let me share this one. So this is the Coinfessions accounts. Great one to learn from on Twitter. But so many people get wrapped up in the passive income that they put that before everything else. And the fact of the matter is there is no, at least in this point in crypto, there's been no passive income that could outpace the dips, the drawbacks that come in the bear markets. I mean, this person round tripped almost $3 million because they were making 35K a day, just freaking making it rain. And so, like you just get intoxicated by the yield. I had a protocol I was making 50K a month on, and this was about a year ago. It was nuts. It was nuts. And that was a good learning experience. That was one, luckily I was taking very significant profits from that one. So I came out really good. I didn't round trip my bag on that one, but like it's intoxicating, the passive income. The people are going to come back in the bull. They're going to say, stake your hex for 15 years. Look at all this great T-share yield you can live off of. They're going to sell you all the same BS that the people sold last time around. Make sure you don't get caught up in any of that. Take profits and be smart with your holdings.
Yes, 120%. Ugh.
35 racks a day. I thought I was doing good at 50 a month. 35 a day is nuts.
God, you talk about the euphoria you're feeling
Oh,
time. Man.
And when you're feeling like that, you feel like it's going to go on for freaking ever.
It always feels
that imagine when it doubles and then it's 70K a day. Imagine what I could do then, and then it all crumbles and you're like, gosh. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I'll be taking massive profit this time around. I was scared of the tax man and hard to let these coins go. I'm telling you, have a plan. Like that's where we talk about using real estate as a wealth preservation tool.
Yes.
Have a plan. If you have the right plan in place, you're not going to get bent over by the tax man. You'll be able to buy assets and mitigate taxes, or move to Puerto Rico. If you're a United States citizen, there's lots of ways to manage this and do it well.
There's usually, I can't remember who was saying it. There's in every country, there's usually at least one spot that the population can move to where they have a tax haven. Almost every country in the world has a spot like that. For the United States, obviously it's Puerto Rico, which is really cool. What's really cool about that is that spot, like here in Puerto Rico, tends to end up being like a hub for crypto. Like this is a crypto hub here. So like if I want to go out and hang out with people who are doing bigger things in crypto than I am, they're a phone call away, and I can go out and have dinner with them. And it's really cool in that aspect. Is because you always want to be in the rooms where everyone's doing bigger things than you. And that's how I was able to be successful in real estate, is that I was joining masterminds, getting around people doing bigger deals than me, had bigger businesses than me, making more money than me. And I was able to level my game up by being around those people. And now moving out here, it kind of does the same thing from a crypto standpoint, which is really cool. So, you get the tax breaks, obviously, but then but it's not going to be for everybody, obviously, too. You got to change your lifestyle a little bit. You got to be able to live, somewhere else. If you have kids in school, they got friends, are they going to want to separate from their friends? There's so many different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's solid. Yeah, this is oh man, I think this is yeah, that's fortunate. That's fortunate. I've got my last one actually that'll be closing at the end of this month. And yeah, thank God it didn't sell 2 months ago when I had it on the market. Had a freaking FOMO'd all that in and been so frustrated with myself right now. So that's that's good, Mike. That's good. Once again, I think the name of the game, we're not to a place quite yet, in my opinion, where you want to, throw everything to the wind and go all in. I want to be a little bit more patient still. But now's the time to be really paying attention to that. Yeah, absolutely. These guys. I mean, frankly, we need them. Like, we need these people to be shilling that because, like, it's really useful. I mean, imagine it's really useful for everyone else to be locking up their coins so they can't be selling when it's time to be selling. Like, and it just blows my mind when people are like, "Oh, well, you'll never know the top, and so just stake it forever." Well, come on, man. Like, I don't know.
It's
I could do this all day. Come on, man. Yeah, excellent take here, Drew. In fact, I've been talking to my wife a lot about this over the last few months. It's interesting. This is the first economic recession that I've been old enough where I had something to lose. Last time I was in college and I was so poor, I didn't feel the recession because I had no money to begin with. I was poor. I was about as poor as you could get. And now, yeah, it's interesting. It's important to be able to learn to prepare yourself. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said. Is there, what does this next recession look like? I mean, it could be pretty severe. It very well could be. And I think that if that's the case, whether you think that's going to be the case or not, I think it's important to hedge in such a way where, you know, you say, hey, if this next recession is brutal, how much profits do I need to be taking? How much money should I be taking off the table to be able to allow myself some flexibility so I can pay my bills? I can do the things I need to do. For a lot of people, financial freedom, it's not the Lambos, it's not the crazy expensive vacations and the mansions, all that stuff is fun. But it's the peace of mind knowing that if things go crazy, you can still pay your bills. They're going to be all right for extended periods of time. If you can just buy yourself that, you're in a very interesting spot. And I think a lot of us, even being down right now, I'm telling you, I think a lot of us, if you're patient and wise, I think you're going to be able to conservatively buy yourself back, multiple years of income that you may be making today, and buy yourself some peace of mind to be able to strategize what your next move is. And I'm telling you, if you can just do that, that's huge. That's huge.
Yep. Well said.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Don't let me get me on that freaking. Oh my gosh, bro! Like, yeah, I think you must have been a bigger player than me. I wasn't. I think I was making at the top or around like I think it was around 8 to 10K is what I was making.
Yeah.
I learned a very valuable lesson from that experience is that 98% of all yield is just a trick to get you into their ecosystem. It's not real unless you're taking profits immediately on that yield. Like I'd have done really well on this ecosystem had I been selling every single month as I was mining it and I was selling it. I would have done all right. I would have done all right in the little short-term window when it was, but I was so wrapped up and like, oh, I want to become a shark position in Pulse Bitcoin, or maybe I want to hold the shark position. Like I remember what it was, but yeah, it was, it was a very valuable learning experience to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, Brazology, we have a lot more savvy investors now, especially with guys like you letting the alpha out about taking profits, telling people that is the moral thing to do. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but also like consider this, and I think this is a great point. I think there's still so many people that aren't even here yet. I mean, I think it's really interesting to consider how many, I've seen so many Twitter posts about people saying, that certain models or the Bitcoin halving cycle or things like that will be invalidated because everyone's expecting them this time around. We're thinking in an echo chamber right now. Like, if you're freaking here right now, there's something a little bit wrong with you. There is. If you're freaking here right now, there's something a little bit wrong with your risk profile. It's broken and it's a little bit turned too far to the risk end of things, because like you're here in the bottom of the bear and been through it, and I think there's going to be so much retail that's going to come in this time around with the ETFs and the excitement, and yeah, I think we're going to be fine. I think we'll have plenty of X's. Now, maybe not 10,000 X's and some of that craziness, but I think we're going to be all right. Yeah, Paul echoes the same thing. We'll see. Yeah, we're early. I agree. I think we're freaking so early on this cycle. The people that are buying, that are going to be buying this year, I'm telling you, there's going to be people next year that are going to be, looking at us and saying, "Oh, you guys, you're so lucky that you were buying back then," when they don't know the pain that we've gone through over the last 2 years to be here now. Oh man, yeah. That attitude is the difference between noobs and veterans. You and I pray for more pain in the market because we understand what the bull brings.
Yeah, this is true.
I'm not praying for any more pain.
No, I'm done with my pain too.
Dear God,
it'd be nice to kind of
it.
get off of the races from here. I would be okay with that. I've had plenty of opportunity to DCA.
Bear market brothers.
That we are.
You guys with the jokes today. Turns out we were too early. Yeah, man. You're not wrong.
Oh, well said, Crypto Cat Dog. Well said.
Yeah.
Crypto Cat Doge.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Only around 10% of people in the world use crypto from what I can see online. We're still early. I think it's even less than that.
It is
in
less
a lot
than
of the
that.
world.
Overall macro, yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of things that can argue with that sentiment. It is what's going to be around, when we get 20, 30, 50% of the population using crypto. How's the crypto space going to look then? Things evolve and things get different. So, yes, you're right on one side of the coin, but the same side, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when everything evolves and things change, it's going to be a much different landscape.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Will even Bitcoin be around? Maybe, because it's the OG dinosaur. That's for sure. But I don't know. Will Ethereum flip it this cycle? Will Ethereum flip it next cycle? Who knows? Which would give it, a pretty serious, a shift in the market. So it's all interesting. I feel like, I'm 46. I have a daughter who's 2. When she's 46, it's nothing that we're talking about right now. I don't believe is going to be around.
Agreed. It'll be a totally different
my
world.
opinion. That's my opinion. A lot of people are like, oh, that's why they, I want to stake Hex for 15 years because, I'm against it.
Yeah.
Most businesses only last 15 years.
Yeah, agreed.
This is technology we're talking about here.
Yeah. I tell you, Briz, so I find it fascinating with our group. We talk to business owners and real estate people about crypto every day. And I'm really interested to see how many people from my dad's generation, how many of those calls we're having. Like, most of the calls we're having are not with a 20 to 30-year-old individual. Like, I think a lot of people anticipate that's who's coming to crypto, and they are. But we're having a lot of conversations with guys in their 50s, their 60s. Even one of the guys in our group is in his 70s.
Robert Allen.
Yeah.
Robert Allen's 74.
I mean, I think it's really telling. I think a lot of boomers see, they've been here, they've had experience, they've seen some economic pain. I think some of them see what's coming. They've been able to retire from businesses. They've been able to do different things. They're looking to place capital. I think there's going to be really big adoption from the boomers, as well as, younger people as well. I think this next bull could be, I don't know. I don't want to be the super cycle guy, but I think there's plenty of X's in the tank for all of us that are here now. Yeah. Tin Top's trying to manifest one more dip. No more dips. Let's send it. I'm ready to be done with the dipping.
Yeah. How much dipping do you want, Tin Top? I mean, you've already got the opportunity to buy deeper than the largest whale.
Mm-hmm.
The largest whale, you have the opportunity to buy deeper than him. So, I mean, I get it. And I mean, in Pulsex, you could buy, I don't know, it's like 7 times deeper than the largest whale. Who knows? It's so wrecked. Like, you want value buy. There you go. If you think of where the biggest value buy is at, you could argue and say Pulsex is it, even though I'm still buying Pulse.
Yeah. Let's see. Did you ever get to the bus stop so early no one was there and you thought you missed the bus? 3 minutes later, everyone showed up and all ended well. I'm stuck in that 3-minute lull.
Yeah, that's it.
Man, we freaking got to the bus stop like an hour early. Yeah.
In Utah, bro, in the winter? That's cold, bro. What are you doing?
And I'm out there shivering in the cold by myself right now, thinking, what am I doing?
Oh, man.
Absolutely. I think this is the bottom, but I could be wrong. Yeah, July down 58% from SEC. With Hunt, last famous words, I could be wrong.
He's trying to call the bottom so it can be marked.
That's right.
I hope you're right, Dylan.
I do
don't
too.
know what Tin Top's smoking over there, and that's great. He just wants the DCA some more. I get it, but man. Yeah. But you know what? If we took another 50% dip, man, I'm prepared for it too. I'm prepared for it. And
that'd be Black Swan. Yeah.
Yeah. And I might deploy some capital at it. I might be with you, Tin Top, deploying it, but I'm not going to like it, bro.
No.
I'm not going to like it.
Uh-oh. What's up, Dylan? Dylan made it over. Dylan's great. Boomer's good. Zoomer's pork. It's true, man. That is true. Volatility is the price you pay for the world's best performing asset class.
Very true, my friend.
We're hoping that it becomes the best performing asset class again this next run. We're here for it.
We're here for it. Yes.
One way or another.
And we paid. We paid well.
We paid us. Yeah, we paid. Cool, guys. Well, this has been fun today. Seriously. Excellent commentary from you guys. We've been running longer than we usually go. It's been fun to hang out with you guys. Last one, let's see. I'm a shy shrimp. I can only DCA for 435 a week. I mean, I need more.
I hope he's not serious.
Right.
$4. I still love you, Tin Top. You got me into the movie for free, so
let's do it. A safe word. Seriously. Oh man. We're not gonna manifest any of that. Up only from here, bros. Let's do it. Yeah. All right, cool, guys. Well, once again, thanks for tuning in. Smash the likes, subscribe, all that stuff on your way out if you haven't already. We're here to
pump the bags, bro. Pump our bags.
Absolutely. So we're gonna be here, and we appreciate you guys. And we'll see you later this week.
See you guys.